And we welcome you to Hightstown, New Jersey for the Peddie School and Lawrenceville doing battle in Maple League football action. Simon Rose here with you. Glad you could join us on the Strive Network. Oh, what a football game we've got for you here on this beautiful Saturday afternoon for football as Lawrenceville at 2-2 takes on the Peddie School at 3-1. Both teams have played a game in conference. In fact, both teams have won a game in conference. The Lawrenceville School coming off a 45-2 victory over Mercersburg, and they scored 41 points in the game before that. So their offense is flying high right now. Same can be said for the Peddie School. They're coming off a 42-32 win against the Hill School, and before that they won 47-12. So you've got two offenses that are playing at a very high level right now. If Vegas put an over-under for this game, it might be about 80. But obviously Vegas doesn't do an over-under for these Maple League football games. But I'll set the over-under at 80. It should be a very exciting game. You've got the head coach, Chris Maleo, for the Peddie School Falcons in his first year, doing what he can to make his mark on this Peddie School football program. And he's got some phenomenal athletes. Now, we came out a little bit early today, so we can honor, just like they are honoring at midfield, the emergency rescue unit, the fire department, and the police department here in Hightstown, New Jersey. So some spotlight time for the emergency rescue unit, the fire department, and the police department here in Hightstown, New Jersey. We thank them for their service. And we will pause here for the national anthem. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with Maple League football right after this. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem to get us set for a beautiful game of football about to be played between the Peddie School and the Lawrenceville School. Welcome back to the Strive Network. Simon Rose here with you. Lance Glenn and Steve Eggert are our crew for this afternoon. Let's get you set for this matchup. We'll take a look at our Coach's Corner. Our Coach's Corner featuring a guy that I mentioned earlier, Chris Maleo, in his first year. Is being assisted this year by Adam Bethea, Frank De Laurentiis, James Harris, Frank Manello, among others. He was the offensive coordinator at the Hun School in 2011, and he was actually the defensive coordinator at this Lawrenceville school from 2012 to 2015, so he does have some experience with the Lawrenceville Big Red. He was a 5-year player at Northwestern, quarterback and linebacker for the Wildcats at Northwestern, and he's also the founder of the quarterback fraternity, in which he trains quarterbacks, the courtesy handshake here at midfield. Now, some good experience at the college level playing-wise for the Lawrenceville head coach as well. That's Harry Flaherty. He's in his first year. He's a pretty young guy. He was a 3-year starting tight end at Princeton University, got a degree in history. He was a history teacher. He is a history teacher at the Lawrenceville School. He actually signed as a free agent in the NFL with the New Orleans Saints and the Dallas Cowboys 2011 and 2012. So he's got some professional experience to go along with his college experience as a tight end at Princeton University. And his brother, Jesse Flaherty, was actually a running back at the Peddie School, now plays at Wagner. Jesse Flaherty graduated in 2013. So Harry Flaherty's Lawrenceville Big Red in his first year, Chris Maleo's Peddie School Falcons in their first year. This is a huge game for the Maple League standings. Let's take a look at those standings since we mentioned them here. early on in the Maple League season. Obviously, each team has played 4 games. The Hun School is 1-0. We saw them last week beat Blair Academy, who's 0-1. That school's got a huge offensive line and a lot of weapons, does the Hun School. That's why they're 4-0 this season and 1-0 in conference. There's Peddie and Lawrenceville at 2-3 respectively. 3-1 Peddie School, Lawrenceville's 2-2. Peddie's on a 3-game win streak. They dropped their first game to Poly Prep, have not lost since then, and the Lawrenceville School 2-2 as they have won their last 2 games. Now Blair Academy, Hill School, and Mercersburg wrap up the standings in the Maple League after 4 weeks of play. So the Lawrenceville Big Red, they've got the Peddie School here this afternoon. Then next week they'll take on the Hun School. Then they'll visit Blair, which we'll have right here for you on the Strive Network. And then they'll finish off their season with the Hill School. Now Peddie playing Lawrenceville, of course, here this afternoon. Mercersburg Academy here on their home field next week. Then they're at the Hun School on the 31st. And they'll finish off their season against Blair here at Peddie on the Strive Network. So we'll have all 3 home games for you of the Peddie School Falcons right here on the Strive Network. We saw that Poly Prep game that got our football season underway back on September 19th, where Peddie lost to Poly Prep 14-9 in a hard-fought game. They have not played a home game since that game. So 3 games on the road. They won all 3. They played Wyoming Seminary, scored 47 points. They played Mater Dei, scored 47 points. And then they played Hill School last week and scored 42 points. So this Peddie School offense, after scoring in single digits against Poly Prep, has really gotten it going offensively, much in thanks to the running attack, which we'll talk about later. But it'll be Lawrenceville's offense on the field to start this game as Peddie will kick off moving right to left, and Lawrenceville in their visiting whites will be moving left to right. And we are underway as a short kick. Field it at the 30-yard line down to the 32, and we are off and running here from Hightstown. Sam Smith, the wide receiver for Lawrenceville, fielded the kick. So out comes the Lawrenceville Big Red. Number of weapons on their offense. Joseph Koloski is the quarterback. He's a senior, 6'1", 210 pounds with a very live arm. Their running back in Samuel Wamakima has had a phenomenal season and career. He'll be the deep back. And the handoff up the middle. I believe that's actually Jared Nelson who's on the carry. Nelson, 5'8", 140 pounds. He's a little guy. He's been playing for quite a while, but he has been very effective. In fact, last week, his best game of his career, 190 yards and a touchdown versus Mercersburg. The 5'8", 140-pound senior from Fairless Hills, PA. He was stopped for a minimal gain on first down. It's 2nd and 9. Koloski to pass across the middle, and he completes. There's Isaiah Wingfield, and Wingfield across the 45. Isaiah Wingfield into enemy territory. Their biggest threat offensively is Isaiah Wingfield in terms of a skill position player. He's a great deep threat. He's got great speed. He runs a 4.6 40. He's had 16 catches this year for 246 yards and 5 touchdowns. And he moves the chains to the 44-yard line. Koloski in the gun. On the draw, he fakes it to Nelson. Koloski wants to keep it himself, and he is taken down by the defensive front. Let's take a look at that defensive front for Peddie. Chidi Broderick, Dan Dawkins, Noah DeHaan, Larry Ross up front. The linebackers, Joe Leone, Keeling Hunter, Adam Conyer, and the cornerbacks, Juwan Dolbryce and Alonzo Adai. The safeties, Keshawn Farmer and Jacob Kaplan, with head coach Chris Maleo. 2nd and 11, movement before the snap. As they change their formation, the pitch goes to Nelson. They've been feeding him early, and Nelson lowers his shoulder. And a nice gain of 7 after he was contacted right about that line of scrimmage. So it'll be 3rd and about 4 coming up here for Lawrenceville. On the season, 236 yards for Nelson on 19 carries. Again, 190 of those yards coming last week. Again in the gun is Koloski. On the keeper, it was an option. He got it to Nelson, who lost the football. Peddie says they have it. Of course they do, but we'll have to wait for the referee's signal. It's either 4th down or Peddie football, and it's Peddie football. Lawrenceville coughs it up. Jared Nelson on 3rd down fumbles, and here comes the Peddie offense. Their drive will start just inside the 40-yard line. So here comes Peddie's offense, who, as I mentioned, in the last 3 games has really gotten it together. 136 total points in those 12 quarters, 11.3 points per quarter. Since that loss to Poly Prep, big reason why is Keshawn Farmer, but he is hit in the backfield. Farmer, 5'6", 152 pounds. He is coming off a huge game against Hill. 17 carries, 244 yards. Shifty running back. Small body, just like Lawrenceville's running back. And the junior from Philadelphia, PA, goes backwards on 1st down. It'll be 2nd and 12. Mason Winter, the quarterback. Again. It's Farmer who breaks free. Somehow Keshawn Farmer is loose inside the 25, down to the 19. There's Keshawn Farmer doing what he does best. When he gets the ball in his hands, he has got the opportunity to go to the distance every single time. He is a playmaker. I asked Coach Maleo before the game what his keys to the game were for this matchup with Lawrenceville. He said run the ball, and run the ball. You're going to see Keshawn Farmer a lot here in this game. He's listed as the deep back. And they give it right back to him. This one, not as much. And Keshawn Farmer gets about a gain of 2. Now, I mentioned the small bodies of the running backs here in this one. Small men, big games. Last week, Keshawn Farmer, 5'6", 165. That might be generous. 2 touchdowns and 244 yards against Hill. 5'8", 140, Jared Nelson with a touchdown, as this one is incomplete. We're going to get it to Keeling Hunter. As Hunter, a senior from Franklin, Tennessee, could not reel it in from Mason Winter. A lot of short passes for Mason Winter. That's kind of how the offense has gone in the last few games, and it's been successful for Peddie. Quick passes, get the ball in the hands of your playmakers, and those playmakers have made plays. Farmer weaving his way through the middle. Keshawn Farmer in the end zone, a touchdown for Peddie. Farmer, the big run to set up the Falcons, and then he finishes off the drive. It's 6-0, Peddie School. We take another look. Farmer able to get in. So shifty watching this kid run, as the Falcons will line up for the extra point. It is Matthew Saker, whose kick is up. His kick is good. Just over 3 minutes gone by. It's Peddie 7, Lawrenceville nothing. You're watching Maple League football right here on the Strive Network. Seven to nothing, Peddie School leading Lawrenceville. The run by Keshawn Farmer, 20 yards into the end zone for the score. And he is into the end zone for the 3rd time in the last 2 weeks. He did have a 91-yard run last week that didn't go for a touchdown. Juwan Dalbris hawked it from him as this one hits off the Lawrenceville player, and this is going to be Peddie football. You know, I question the decision of Chris Maleo to do the onside kick in that game against Poly Prep. He did it a few times. The referees look like they're going to discuss this. It looked like it hit the Lawrenceville player in the head. And it should be Peddie football, but the referees are going to discuss. But back to what I was saying, Chris Maleo, he's been known to go for onside kicks in very conservative situations as he's trying to get himself into this referee conversation. Obviously, it was right in front of him where he saw that ball hit off the head of the Lawrenceville player. They're taking a long time to discuss this, and Chris Maleo does not look happy as he's walking away from the conversation. He wants some more, and now here comes Harry Flaherty to talk. The referees can't be happy about the two head coaches coming out here and trying to instill what they think is the right call. And it looks like they're going to change the call, and they are. They're going to give it to Lawrenceville. So perhaps the Big Red picking up a huge break there, getting the ball after the onside kick. It was a well-executed onside kick by the Peddie school, to their credit. However, in the end, it is not successful based on the call from the referees. So Lawrenceville dodges a bullet. They'll have the ball down by 7:49 to go here in the first quarter. Ball spotted at the 43-yard line. And in there as a running back this time is Samuel Wamakima, but there is movement before the snap. And it's taken a little while for us to get back to play since that Keshawn Farmer touchdown. Neutral zone infraction against the Peddie School Falcons. That'll make it 1st and 5. Wamakima, the only running back. Koloski throwing to the far side and completing to Johnny Lazier, the tight end. He's got room down the sideline, rumbling inside the 25. Johnny Lazier, only 4 catches on the season for 22 yards. He just eclipsed his season yard total in that one play. And Lawrenceville is in business. Remember, they fumbled on their last possession. 1st and 10. And a handoff to Wamakima, his first touch of the game. Moving to pile up about 3 yards. Samuel Wamakima from Greenbrook, New Jersey, the junior at 5'11", 185 pounds. 11 carries for 105 yards and 3 touchdowns against Mercersburg. 73 carries on the season, so they have certainly fed their junior running back. Give him a gain of 4 on first down, so 2nd and 6 here. Man in motion is the tight end Lazier. And Koloski, quick hit to the near side. Wingfield is hit hard and taken down by Alonzo Adai, the defensive back, with a big hit. And that will bring Lawrenceville back to the line of scrimmage and make it 3rd and 10. You can hear the hometown fans starting to get into it here. Pitch to Wamakima. Following blockers, Wingfield as the lead blocker, and it was a decent gain on 3rd down. Perhaps enough for Lawrenceville to go for it here on 4th, since they are on the 25-yard line. Really no room to punt the ball, so Harry Flaherty, an easy decision for him. And Lawrenceville will look to keep this drive alive. This is about the spot on the field where they fumbled on their last possession. Wamakima on the delay. He's not going to get there, met by a host of Falcons. And for the second consecutive possession, Lawrenceville stalls inside Peddie territory. Last time on a turnover by a fumble, this time on a turnover on downs. And back out comes the Peddie offense. Dan Dawkins among those making the stop. Now, Coach Maleo loves his defensive fronts. He said that he's got a guy in Chidi Broderick on the defensive end spot who's now on the offensive line at 6'4", 280 pounds that he called unblockable. 1st and 10, though, for Mason Winter and the Peddie School Falcons offense. Another run. It's like Farmer again. Nothing doing this time. Let's take a look at that Peddie offense. The starters. As you see, Mason Winter, Keshawn Farmer, Juwan Dalbrice. Now, Luke Moorhead actually not in there as a halfback. Alonzo Adai, Keeling Hunter, Noah DeHaan, Dan Dawkins, Meisner, Broderick, and Ross with head coach Chris Maleo. 2nd down. Oh, Farmer able to turn the corner. Farmer's got space again. Keshawn Farmer out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Pushed out of bounds by Isaiah Wingfield. A little jawing after the fact as those two guys, two of the biggest playmakers on the field. Involved on that play, a big run by Keshawn Farmer, picking up right where he left off last week with his 244-yard performance. 1st and 10. This time it's Dalbrice, and Juwan Dalbrice, the first time we've mentioned him here in this game. Not able to get anywhere, in fact, going backwards 2 yards. Dalbrice has got a cast on his left hand, but it hasn't limited him at all. And Coach Maleo is so impressed with how Juwan Dalbrice, who's still a wide receiver, is able to catch the ball with that cast on his left hand. As we've got a stoppage here, looks like an equipment issue. Coming off the field is Johnny Lazier. So a quick substitution for Lawrenceville. It'll be Dalbrice in the slot. He takes the pitch. Juwan Dalbrice weaving upfield across the 40, still on his feet, coming back the other way. Juwan Dalbrice makes the last man miss, and then he's gone. "49 yards to pay dirt." Juwan Dalbrice into the end zone, and the two big playmakers for the Peddie Falcons have already scored here in this game. It's 13-0 Falcons, with the chance to make it 14 as the extra point being lined up by Matt Saker, who's 1 for 1. Kick is up. Kick is good. So 14-0 the score. And I mentioned those two playmakers who have already scored here in this game. Keshawn Farmer from Philadelphia. These are the last 2 games that Peddie has played. Again, 17 rushes, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns versus Hill. Juwan Dalbrice from Linden, 10 touches in that game against Mater Dei 2 weeks ago. 5 touchdowns on those 10 touches, 278 yards, averaging a cool 28 yards per play in that game. And he's got a similar total here in this game based on that 49-yard run after the 2-yard loss that he ran. So Juwan Dalbrice, 2 plays on that drive for 49 yards in the touchdown. And more importantly for Peddie, they've got a 14-0 lead with 3:56 to go in the first quarter. Simon Rose here with you on the Strive Network. Glad you could join us. The second Peddie football game, and we are covering here this year. Lawrenceville will receive, down by 14 now. Their offense hasn't looked bad, but it has stalled at the end of their drives. A fumble and then a turnover on downs, and then they'll get the ball back here on their third possession. That's assuming Chris Maleo doesn't try to onside kick again, which of course he does. Bobbled around, it's loose, still loose. Peddie says they have it again. Wait for the referee's signal, because that ball was loose for a long time on the ground, and it allowed Peddie to get in there on the scrum. And they're still fighting for it on the bottom of the pile. Oh, it's Peddie football. Peddie football. Chris Maleo calling for the onside kick in their last kickoff, and well, he thought that Peddie recovered, and quite frankly, so did we. But it went to Lawrenceville. No harm, no foul. Peddie took got a defensive stop and went for a touchdown. But here on this onside kick, a clear recovery for the Falcons, who have glorious field position right outside the 30-yard line. Lots of movement before the snap. This play not going to get off. Laundry on the field. And it'll be a false start against the Falcons. Again, Peddie on a 3-game win streak since losing to Poly Prep. Lawrenceville on a 2-game win streak. Something's got to give. And a picture-perfect start here for the Falcons in a very important Maple League game. One of these teams will remain atop the standings in the Maple League at 2-0. One of these teams will drop to 1-1. Quick hit as Alonzo Adai makes, Keeling Hunter, makes the catch. Gets those penalty yards back and more inside the 30-yard line to the 26. It'll make it 2nd and 6. As we are ticking inside 3.5 minutes. Jacob Kaplan listed as a receiver here on the near side. Alonzo Adai and Dolbris on the far. Another flag. And it is a false start against Peddie. Now, one thing that the Falcons have struggled with in the recent past, and I'm talking about that game against Hill, is their penalties. They were penalized 20 times in that game against Hill for 200 yards. And they've already been penalized a handful of times here in this first quarter. They'll take this 14-0 lead. Three receivers. Farmer alongside Winter. Farmer hitting the hole, and Keshawn Farmer is loose again. He cuts on a dime, and he's inside the 20. Another red zone opportunity for Peddie. And another really good-looking run for Keshawn Farmer. Now, one big addition to this team that Peddie didn't have in their first 2 games for the entirety is a healthy offensive line. This is Dolbris into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown. The Falcons making it look easy on the ground. However, this one's coming back. That was too easy. A holding call. As you saw Keshawn Farmer, how upset he was over that penalty, and he was giving it to the referee. He's got to be careful, and Chris Maleo, you could see the conversation with him saying, cool your jets a little bit. But this is going to bring Peddie back a while. They're down to they're back to the 30-yard line. They've got to get to get to the 10 for a first down. So 1st and 20. They still hand it off to Farmer. Going up the left side, Keshawn Farmer out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Spun out of bounds there. You see the Falcons running to the left side. Well, they're really going the way of Noah DeHaan. Noah DeHaan, 6'7", 315 pounds on the left tackle spot. He's already committed to play at Clemson, the junior. He did play last week. That was the first game that he was back. He got injured in that game against Poly Prep, didn't play in that game, and didn't play against Wyoming Seminary. But the big body is up there at left tackle and creating big holes for Farmer. Mason Winters pass knocked down by Christian Shade. So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 11. Likely 4-down territory. And they give the Farmer on 3rd and 11, and Farmer is taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Big time play by the linebacking junior for Lawrenceville, Dylan DeMarco, holding on for dear life, and now it's 4th and a mile for Peddie. Still no room to punt the ball, so you're almost forced to go for it here, and even if you miss, it's not a great field position for the Big Red. So Mason Winter likely will have a chance to show off his arm on 4th and 20, it looks. Winter steps up. Winter throwing backwards. That's a fumble. It's a live ball picked up by Farmer, and he's going to go maybe out of bounds. No, he's down at the 44. And that is worst case scenario. Well, maybe not worst case scenario. Worst case scenario would have been a pick 6 or something like that. But Winter's throwing backwards because he was spun around, and that's a live ball. It's a lateral backwards, and that's a fumble. So now better field position here for Lawrenceville as they'll start their drive at the 44. And you can see Chris Maleo talking to Mason Winter on the sideline. Remember, Coach Maleo is the founder of the quarterback fraternity and did play as a quarterback at Northwestern as they fake to Wamakima, and it's Wingfield who stays in bounds. Wingfield wrestled down inside the 45. Mason Winter, still a relatively young quarterback as a sophomore. But he's got a coach in Chris Maleo who obviously knows how to coach that position probably better than any other position on the team. And now Lawrenceville, after the play to Wamakima with good field position, they will switch sides of the field. And after 1 quarter of play, it's Peddie 14, Lawrenceville 0. You're watching Maple League football. We'll be right back here with the 2nd quarter on the Strive Network. After 1 quarter of play, Lawrenceville down 14-0. They do have the ball in Peddie territory, which they have had on all 3 of their possessions, and they have no points to show for it. 2 turnovers forced by Peddie, and 1 turnover on downs. Wamakima back in there. We haven't seen Jared Nelson since he fumbled the ball. Straight handoff to Wamakima. Nice hole for him. He gets across the 40 to the 36-yard line, Samuel Wamakima. Lawrenceville had a lot of players as we've got a down Lawrenceville Big Red, and I believe that is Wamakima. It is indeed. So maybe we will have to see Jared Nelson come back in and do something as they try to tend to Sam Wamakima on the ground. Let's take a quick injury break. Hopefully Sam Wamakima can get back on his feet momentarily. Wamakima to the sideline. It's Jared Nelson in there, who's pinned up at the line of scrimmage. Bring up 3rd down. Lawrenceville has had some really impressive names go on to play at impressive schools. In fact, among last year's graduating class, Tony Watkins is playing at UConn. Randall West playing at UMass. Sheridan Lawley playing at UConn. Zach O'Leary playing at UPenn, and Nolan DeMarco playing at Colgate. Flea flicker here. Koloski going deep. He's got Wingfield in the end zone. Touchdown, Lawrenceville. The Big Red finally get on the board. The flea flicker and the trickery. Tricking this Peddie Falcon defense. Then Wingfield gets behind the D for the touchdown. Great throw from Joseph Koloski. We take another look, as that was a very well-designed play and better execution by Lawrenceville as they're finally able to get on the board. Looking to make it 14-7 with this extra point being attempted by Daniel Alexander. The big man puts it up over the uprights, and that is good. 10:54 to go in the second quarter. Lawrenceville halves the Peddie lead here in Hightstown, New Jersey. We take one step aside. We come back. Peddie gets the ball back. Back we come to Hightstown, New Jersey, where Lawrenceville gets on the board. Flea flicker from Koloski to Wingfield. They handed it off to Jared Nelson, who pitched back to Koloski, who threw an accurate ball into the end zone to Isaiah Wingfield. And the All-Maple League honorable mention player from last year got in for the score and halved the Peddie lead. So 21 points on the board here with just under 11 minutes to go in the first half. This one taken on a hop by Alonzo Adai. Alonzo Adai making a juke at the 30. And Adai stacked up at the 35. So Peddie, after scoring on their first 2 possessions, their third possession ends with what was a weird-looking play where Mason Winter, trying to avoid the sack, tried to throw the ball as he was being sacked to the ground and ended up throwing it backwards, ultimately giving better field position for Lawrenceville after the turnover on downs. But Winter back in there. They do throw it quickly to Dolbris. Dolbris receiving a beautiful block from Adai. That's enough to get close to the first down. It looks like he's going to be just short. Coach Maleo has done a great job with the setup of this offense. A lot of those quick balls that I mentioned before, they're trying to get the ball out of Winter's hands very quickly this season. And the wide receivers are doing a nice job of getting out there and trying to spring the receiving player. It's Keshawn Farmer. Modest gain this time, but it is a first down for the Falcons. So right at midfield is Peddie. 3 receivers. Winter gives to Farmer. They run the left side, and Farmer, man, he just won't go down. It depends where they spot this. There is a flag on the field coming in late. Emil Banfield, the safety, came in to make the tackle on Farmer. Now, do they give him forward progress all the way back to where he was initially hit right behind the line of scrimmage? It really depends how the referee saw that one. Sometimes your ability to stay on your feet ends up hurting your team if they don't give you the forward progress, but it looks like they are looking to spot it right at midfield. The referees, again, coming together to see how they call this one. Having a long chat to figure this one out. Personal foul against Lawrenceville. Oh, that's a big penalty against the Big Red. They stopped Farmer, which they haven't done very much in this game. That's nothing against Lawrenceville. Nobody stopped Farmer. But they stop him for a big loss, and they call a personal foul penalty. Now, I presume against Emil Banfield for the way that he tried to get Farmer down and spinning him down to the ground late. Farmer puts down his head, not going to get anywhere this time. Up front for Lawrenceville, you've got Christian Shade, Henry Flannery, Noah Harrington, and Brandon Liebman. That's the starting defense for the Big Red. In the shotgun is Winter, 2nd and 9. Motion is Dolbris. He takes the pitch. Dolbris got a big hole. Great tackle, though, made by the Big Red. And Sam Smith, the safety, comes up and stops him in his tracks. So a modest gain on 2nd down. It'll make it 3rd and 5 at about the 31. Farmer right to Winter's right. It's Keshawn Farmer. Able to get to the edge, and Keshawn Farmer spinning past the first down marker and more inside the 20. And again, the Falcons in business with 8:19 to go in the second quarter. Sam Wamakima comes in to make the tackle for Lawrenceville. But it's 1st and 10 for Peddie in the red zone. Dolbris in motion. They give to Farmer. Farmer stacked up. The big man, Henry Flannery, makes the tackle. Flannery, 6'4", 280 from New Providence, New Jersey. The senior stops Farmer for a 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9. Winter to throw, and he hits his receiver right in time. Keeling Hunter, the tight end, makes the catch. It'll be 3rd and very short. Winter very accurate on those short throws. That's really his strength as a quarterback. Kind of liken the Peddie offense to the Philadelphia Eagles offense. If you watch the NFL, a lot of short, quick passes. Keep that offense moving. Another quick pass to Dolbris, who drops it. So that'll bring up 4th down and about a yard. Of course, Peddie will go for it here. Unless there's been a serious change in philosophy by head coach Chris Maleo. They are going to call a timeout. So, timeout by Chris Maleo. with 7 minutes to go. I want to take the time to remind you what's coming up here on the Strive Network. A lot of good things coming up right here for you on the Strive Network, including Peddie and Mercersburg soccer. Now, that might be a boys' game. It might be a girls' game. That's still to be determined, but the game will be played at Mercersburg next Saturday at 2:30. That game will be on the air. Peddie soccer, and we've got Blair and Rutgers Prep boys soccer. The NJISSA Prep tournament will be on our airwaves coming up in the next few weeks on the 28th, the 1st, and the 4th. And, of course, that big Peddie versus Blair football game right here at Maurice P. Schumann Field on November 7th will finish off Maple League play and will be a fun one to watch for sure. Big rivalry here in the Maple League. 4th and short out of the timeout. Winter still in the gun. It's Farmer. Left side. Farmer's got the first down. So that'll make it 1st and goal here for Peddie, knocking on the door once again, looking to make it a 2-score game once again. They were up 14-0. Lawrenceville struck on their ensuing possession. And here's Peddie again driving. Their offense has looked very, very strong here on their home field. They fake it to Farmer. Winter will keep it himself, and he is mauled by about 5 big red players. Yeah, unable to get really much of anything on that first down play. That'll make it 2nd and goal. In fact, I think they marked him back a yard. Farmer, end zone touchdown. 2nd time in on the ground. Keshawn Farmer makes it 20-7. A 7-yard run. This kick is up. This kick is good. 3 extra points converted by Matt Sanker. So with 5:58 to go in the 3rd quarter, it's Peddie 21, Lawrenceville 7. You're watching Maple League football right here on the Strive Network. Keshawn Farmer gets in on the ground for the 2nd time in this game from 7 yards out on that most recent touchdown. And now a 3-touchdown-to-1 lead for the Falcons, who kick away deep this time. It'll go over the head of Wingfield out to the back of the end zone. First time we've seen a kick actually be your more traditional kickoff from Peddie, as they tried onside kicks in their previous attempts. Well done by Dylan Clancy, the senior from Freehold, New Jersey, with a booming kick and no opportunity to return for Lawrenceville, who have the ball with just under 6 minutes, so just under halfway done, or just over halfway done this 2nd quarter. It's Jared Nelson, who is stacked up deep behind the line of scrimmage. A big-time play made by the defense of Peddie. That's Joe Leone, who makes the tackle, the junior. Brings him back 4 yards. Wamakima back in there as the deep back. Good to see him on his feet after an injury scare early in the game. Koloski steps up in the pocket, fires across the middle, complete. Dylan DeMarco makes the catch. And he's got a first down, a gain of about 19. That'll give DeMarco about 100 yards on the season. It's his 6th catch of the year. Joseph Koloski able to stand in the pocket as well as any quarterback we've seen this season. Very impressive. As the senior from Plymouth, Connecticut, stands in the shotgun. He hands off to Wamakima. Wamakima weaving his way. Taken down by Dan Dawkins. About a gain of 5. Another run for Wamakima. Got past the first level. And coming up to make the tackle is Adam Conyer, the sophomore linebacker. And Coach Maleo said that his defense starts and ends with his middle linebacker and Keeling Hunter. He's a Villanova commit. But he really likes his outside linebackers as well. A little bit younger, Adam Conyer, who he said's got a lot of promise, and also Joe Leone. All 3 of those linebackers have made big plays in this game. It's 3rd down and short. Wingfield across midfield. Isaiah Wingfield out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Now Isaiah Wingfield, 6 foot, 180 pounds. Obviously he's a deep, great threat offensively, but defensively is where he really makes his name. Being scouted to play football at Boston College next year. Or in 2 years, I should say. He's just a junior. Lawrenceville happy that he's in uniform for another season. Play action to Nelson. Koloski goes down. He tried to pump fake away, but it did not fake out. Dan Dargan who makes the sack. So 2nd and a long way coming for Lawrenceville. Ball spotted at the 41. They've got to get to the 36. Clock will stop. We've got a timeout on the field. So with just under 3 minutes to go, Lawrenceville calls a timeout. And it's 21-7 Peddie. We'll be right back here on the Strive Network. .259 to go in the second quarter, 21-7, Peddie leads. Second and a long way coming for Lawrenceville. A bobbled snap, but they still do get the pitch away. But really no gain for Samuel Wamakima. So third and now a long way coming for Lawrenceville. It'll be Peddie ball to start in the second half. That might play a factor as this one is broken up by Dolbris. Jawan Dolbris. He's a guy that makes plays offensively, kind of similar to Isaiah Wingfield, and that their strengths are probably on the defensive side of the ball. You got two shutdown corners over there being featured in this game, and Dolbris makes a nice play. So Lawrenceville really no choice but to punt this one away. And Alonzo Adai and Jawan Dolbris listed deep to receive. And it looks like Adai is the deeper one, as the punt is a knuckler that bounces at the 36 and dies at the 33. So 2 minutes and just about 5 seconds to go here for a Peddie to even add to their lead, up by 14 points. They'll get the ball to start the second half. I gotta feel like they're in pretty good position here, the way that their offense has looked on the ground. As we do have a downed Lawrenceville Big Red player. You see head coach Harry Flaherty coming out to see what's going on with number 23. That's Jake Ortega, 5'10" wide receiver from Glendale, New York. And this will give an opportunity for these teams to get a little built-in timeout. Don't forget to subscribe to Strive on YouTube. If you're watching us here on the Strive Network, just click that subscribe button and you'll be updated. And you can stay up to date with us with all of the broadcasts that we've got coming up for you. We've got a very jam-packed schedule coming in the next few weeks, as you see getting up off his feet, or getting up onto his feet, is Jake Ortega. And don't forget, you can also follow us on Twitter at @Strive_network. Little social media plug. Back to the game. 2:07 to go here in the second quarter as Peddie starts their drive. It's Keshawn Farmer. Makes two men miss. Cannot make the third. And Wingfield. Let's see, Wingfield and Farmer. I don't know if they know each other, have some sort of relationship, but we've seen them interact with each other on a number of plays. Now, Wingfield is almost always involved defensively on a tackle. So he's always got the opportunity to say something after he tackles a guy. He's able to stop Farmer this time for about a 4-yard gain. Winter looking deep and overshooting Alonzo Adai. And the coverage by Isaiah Wingfield. And he really is a shutdown corner. You can see no space for Alonzo Adai, who has got a lot of speed, really no place to put that ball if you're Mason Winter. So third down. And they set it up, and that ball, is it intercepted? No, it's incomplete. It was bobbled by Peddie. I believe it was Keeling Hunter who bobbled that ball. And it nearly turned into an interception. So a 3-and-out potentially here for Peddie, who will have to punt this one away. So Lawrenceville doing their job here at the second quarter, which could be a big swing, down by 14 points. They get the ball back with a chance to make it a one-possession game going into halftime. A side-winding kick bounces at the 42, out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. So 1 minute and 6 seconds, only about a minute coming off the clock during that Peddie drive. So there is time here for Lawrenceville, and they do have some timeouts to burn as well. Again, these are two offenses that have not had much issue in the last few games scoring points. However, Lawrenceville having a bit of an issue here in this first half, only 7 on the board. Granted, they have turned the ball over a few times. But Joseph Koloski breaks out of the huddle. They'll come out in an I formation. Wamakima, the deep back. Isaiah Wingfield is split out as a receiver on the near side. They give right to Wamakima. And he moves the pile forward, nearing the 45. The clock continues to run. And Dan Dargan made the tackle. There's a lot of time coming off the clock here for Lawrenceville. They want to kind of play hurry up. You've got a minute and change before this drive started, and they just wasted about 20, 25 seconds with the option of not calling a timeout. Because they've got some timeouts to burn. Another quick play that goes virtually nowhere. Let's see if they stop the clock this time, and now they do. Well, whether they call the timeout or not, I'm not sure, but there was a flag on the field, so that's why the clock stopped. And we'll see what the result of this flag is. And now only 25 seconds for Lawrenceville to go 55 yards. I didn't see any signal for what that penalty was. Here it comes. Illegal formation or an illegal shift against the Big Red. So that's going to bring them back behind the original line of scrimmage. So back to 2nd and about 12, though the first down really irrelevant at this point with only 25 seconds to go. The Big Reds have got to score. They do have 4 receivers this time, and Koloski looking to throw, stepping up and looking to run. Flag comes in, and the ball comes out at the end of the play, but I think Koloski was down. Koloski does have the ability to make some plays with his feet. He hasn't had the opportunity to do so. He hasn't done so much in this first half, but he does so there. However, the flag does come in with 9 seconds to go. And we await the referee's signal once again. I have taken a lot of time to discuss what these penalties are. It does look like a hold. That's against Peddie and Lawrenceville. So 2 holds on that play, 1 by each team. Those penalties offset. And with 9 seconds to go, this could be the last play of the first half. And another whistle. It looked like the referee's flag dropped out. And now we're stopping to allow one of the Peddie players, that was Keeling Hunter, tie his shoes. So 9 seconds to go, and the snap to Koloski. Firing, completing to Wingfield, stays on his feet. Wingfield out of bounds with 1.2 seconds to go at the 41-yard line. So that was a positive play for Lawrenceville. Now they've got a fighter's chance to get some points on the board before halftime. 1 play remaining here for the Big Red. Pulaski being chased, does get the throw away. It's intercepted, which will do nothing but pad the stats for the Falcons. It's technically another turnover in the books, but more importantly for Peddie, they go into the locker room with a 21-7 lead. Impressive performance offensively, defensively, and on special teams for the Falcons in the first half, as they will have the ball to start the second. But zeros on the clock here in the second quarter, so we will take a break. We'll leave you here at halftime with the Strive highlights. Some highlights from the last few weeks right here on the Strive Network.
A highlight reel play instantly. Winter back in there. The give to Farmer. Farmer cuts upfield and catch on Farmer. Say goodbye. Touchdown, Peddie.
And this one is in for a goal. This one will count. Ball deflection, and it's in. Time into the back of the net. Oh, what a shot and redirect.
Here on fourth and short. It's going to be another run to Centenaro on the left side. It looks like he has the first down. He has the first down and more. He's going to scamper into the end zone. And that is 6 on the board for the Butler Bulldogs. Butler leads 20-0 in the third quarter. And the first play is a run up the middle. And here is Castiglia. He's across the 40. No one is in front of him. He's across the 20, across the 10, into the end zone. There's a much better kick from Dallas across the 50-yard line. Takes a good hop for Crimson. Rolls across the 30. Keeps rolling across the 25. Inside the 20. And this one will be dropped inside the 15. The wind keeps it going. This is nuts. And I think the wind is going to take this one all the way back toward the goal line. It's inside the 10. We'll see how much further it goes. You have got to be kidding. Monsoon conditions as the wind has pushed this one all the way inside the 5. And you don't want to get too greedy. Stop it before it gets to the goal line. And there you go. As this punt from Dallas hit at the 50-yard.
So a set piece here for PDS. They loft it into the middle. Hagan got a touch and the ball finds the back of the net. Off the head of Connor Fletcher. Mayer playing in swinger. The lefty. Lofts it high to the corner of the 6. Back in it comes and Adams rotates over to make the save. In the last chance for Lawrenceville. The keeper's up there as well. It was deflected and it went off the post. Oh my, it's so close to tying this game up, and the final whistle blows. PDS escapes with the victory.
Underclassmen, Isabella freshman breaks a sophomore, and there's an early goal for the Panthers. And just like that, it's 1-0 here in the first. Here's a chance for Bunt down the sideline. Keeps it in bounds. Bunt plays it in. There's a shot and a goal. The volley, Simon Ponte makes it 2-0 Panthers.
And we welcome you back to Hightstown, New Jersey for the beginning of the second half. Here between the Peddie School and the Lawrenceville School. Simon Rose back with you as it's 21-7, Peddie leading Lawrenceville. A offensive star-studded first half for Peddie. Picking up right where they've left off their last 3 games, averaging over 40 points per game in their last 3, and they're on pace to eclipse that 40-point mark heading into the second half. A 20-yard run by Keshawn Farmer, a 7-yard run by Keshawn Farmer, and a 49-yard run by Juwan Dolbris got into the end zone for the Peddie Falcons. That accounts for their 21 points. The 7 points for Lawrenceville came on a flea flicker, a 49-yard pass and catch from Joseph Koloski to Isaiah Wingfield. It'll be the Lawrenceville School to kick off here as they received the opening kickoff. So Peddie with a 14-point lead, and the ball offensively to start here in the third quarter. Their offense looking good, as I mentioned. The only time that they didn't sustain a impressive drive, I guess you could say, was that last drive of the first half where they went 3 and out. Other than that, they moved the ball very effectively. So Peddie will be moving left to right to start here in the third quarter. And we're underway. Kick hangs up in the wind. Coming up to field it is Alonzo Adai. Adai making a man miss and then finding a seam up to the 45-yard line, and here comes the Falcons offense again. In there on the tackle for Lawrenceville, you had Kit Bynum and Patrick Taylor. Mason Winter gets things going for the Peddie Falcons in the shotgun, but movement before the snap, and the Falcons will be penalized for a false start. They were penalized a number of times in that first half, which is where they were picking up where they left off from last week, where they were penalized 20 times for 200 yards. But their offensive skill players have been able to make up for those penalties, and they maintain a 14-point lead. This snap is good. A flag does come in, and on the end around comes Juwan Dolbris across the 50, inside the 40, but this one could be coming back depending on the result of this flag. A penalty against Peddie, so wipe away the long run by Dolbris. Dolbris has done so much with all of his touches, and that's dating back to that Matter Day game where he had 10 touches and 5 of them went for touchdowns, 5 rushes and 5 receptions, 2 rushing touchdowns and 3 receiving touchdowns. He's only had a handful of touches here in this game, but one of them went for 49 yards and a touchdown. Hand off to Farmer, makes a man miss in the backfield. Keshawn Farmer to the 40-yard line, a gain of 5 on 1st and 20. That'll make it 2nd and 15. Just so difficult to tackle in the open field. The shifty running back, Keshawn Farmer, and continues to impress for this Peddie Falcon offense. He's lined up right to the right of Mason Winter. Far side in motion, Alonzo Adai listed as a receiver. Winter to throw, looking for Adai, in and out of his arms and incomplete. Winter hit him right in the numbers. But Adai could not reel it in. That'll bring up 3rd and long, 3rd and 15. The Falcons looking to avoid a 3 and out here on their first possession. And dating back to the second half, that would be a 3 and out on their last 2 possessions. Or dating back to the first half, excuse me. Just over a minute gone by here in the third quarter as Winter receives the snap out of the gun, fires deep, and no one's home. in the vicinity of his receiver, Jacob Kaplan. That'll bring up 4th and 15, and the Falcons will likely punt. A nice defensive stand by Lawrenceville coming out here in the second half. I'm sure Harry Flaherty had plenty of words for his squad on the defensive side of the ball because Peddie just had their way in the first half for the most part. This punt is away, nearly blocked. It's a line drive that bounces at the 25, picked up by Wingfield at the 20. Wingfield tripped up by Keshawn Farmer. We've seen Wingfield make a few tackles on Farmer. This time Farmer against Wingfield. And the Lawrenceville drive will start at the 29. So down by 14 points. Out comes Lawrenceville. One and one on the road this season. Peddie only playing that one game, 0-1 at home. Remember that game we saw here on the Strive Network. First game of the season for Peddie against Poly Prep where they lost 14-9. Quick hitter to Wamakima. He is hit immediately. Nice pursuit by the defense. Adam Conyer makes a tackle in the backfield. And Lawrenceville goes backwards on first down. 2nd and 15 coming up. Wamakima is the back. Wamakima takes the handoff, and again, the Peddie defense does not allow him to go anywhere. A late flag comes in at the end. You saw Isaiah Wingfield pleading with the referee to throw it, and he did, as it looked like Wingfield was pointing at the defensive back, Alonzo Adai. And the referees granted his plea for a flag, and they do give a personal foul to Peddie, but they also give a personal foul to Lawrenceville. So those penalties offset. By the way, Chidi Broderick was in on the last stop for the Falcons. So 3rd and 15. This time Koloski under center. Now we'll step back, clear out the backfield as Wingfield goes into the slot. In the gun, Koloski steps up and fires. It's out of the reach of Wingfield, who's again pleading for a flag. He comes up a little bit limp as he hobbles across the green. It looks like he'll be okay. But in the end, it's a 4th down upcoming here for Lawrenceville. Good stand by the Peddie defense. So after an offensive-ridden first half, both teams go 3 and out on their first possessions of the second half. As Alonzo Adai stands at about the 40-yard line to receive this punt. And we've got cheers from the Peddie sideline as was it down? Did they call it down? The knee hit the ground. The punter went down to field that punt. His knee hit the ground, meaning he is down at that spot. That gives phenomenal field position here for Peddie. What a big call that is. As we take a look at the replay here. And yeah, you saw it. Good call by the referees. As the punter, Gareth Cuniff, went to his knee to field that punt. Or field the snap. So 2nd and 10 after the first down play goes nowhere for Keshawn Farmer. Two touchdowns in the first half for Farmer. So ball spotted at the 14-yard line. Winter gives the Farmer. Farmer trying to stiff arm Wamakima away, and Wamakima did enough to allow his teammates to get in there. Noah Harrington comes in and finishes off Keshawn Farmer. We haven't talked a lot about Noah Harrington, but certainly an attractive player defensively and offensively on the line for Lawrenceville. The post grad is a 6'4", 305-pound lineman from Bath, New York, as Dolbris takes the pitch. Following Farmer to spring him, Dolbris is going to fall close to that first down marker. Just weaving his way through the Lawrenceville defense. 4th and 1, and maybe 1.5. Obviously, Peddie going to go for it here within the 5-yard line. They give it to Farmer, and Farmer might be stopped. It's going to depend on the spot. It looks like they've marked him short here, and what a big spot, a big stop that was for the Lawrenceville defense as we see the replay. You would bet on Farmer 9 times out of 10 to get a first down on 4th and 1, but within the 5-yard line, Farmer is stopped and Lawrenceville takes over. So after that punt, or attempted punt, that was downed inside the Lawrenceville 15, Peddie cannot make the big red pay, and they turn it over on downs. Not much on that first down run. Jason Meisner in on the stop for the Peddie defense. 2nd and 9.5. Five minutes gone by here in the third quarter. Peddie 21, Lawrenceville 7. All of the scoring took place in the first 2 quarters. Peddie showing blitz. They hand off, and Wamakima broke a tackle, got the first down, and the chains will move. A good-looking run for Sam Wamakima. Adam Conyer in on the stop for Peddie. So the ball up to the 18-yard line for the Big Red. Koloski under center. Fake the pitch to Wamakima. On the run, Koloski throws. Ball up in the air, it'll fall incomplete. Looking for Dylan DeMarco. Another one of the strengths of Joseph Koloski, we haven't seen him do this much in this game, is throwing on the move. He is a very mobile quarterback, as I mentioned, and is able to make some plays for himself with his legs, but he can throw very well and accurately while he's running. And that was an accurate throw right into the hands of Dylan DeMarco, who could not bring it in. Timeout is called here. 6:17 to go in the third quarter. 21 points for Peddie, 7 points for Lawrenceville. You're watching Maple League football right here on the Strive Network.
How did they get so fast? You gotta tell me the secret. Man, they're looking strong this year. What have they been up to? Where you been training at? We gotta go there too. Come learn the secret to game speed for yourself at the Parisi Speed School. We are the fastest gym in the country.
As you take a look at both of the huddles here, Chris Maleo and company in the top right. And there is the defense awaiting the break of the huddle, and there you see it. The Lawrenceville Big Red. 2nd and 10. Crowd continues to be loud here at Peddie. Great atmosphere here in Hightstown at Maurice P. Schumann Field. Under center is Koloski. Fakes the handoff, throws deep down the field looking for Wingfield, who made the catch. He made the catch at midfield. Isaiah Wingfield among two defenders. It looked like he used his wings to fly through the air and snatch that one up. And it's a first down at midfield for Lawrenceville. We've seen Wingfield do this season. If you've taken a look at any of the highlights, in traffic, he can bring it down. Very, very talented wide receiver and, of course, defensive back as well. Jared Nelson looking for room to run. Not going to find any. It was stripped away and picked up by Keeling Hunter. Hunter just ripped it away from Nelson, who commits his second fumble of the game, and then Hunter picked it up. And a big, big play for Peddie as they'll have the ball deep in Lawrenceville territory. Just a phenomenal defensive play by Keeling Hunter. The Villanova commit plays a phenomenal middle linebacker for Chris Maleo. He said that the defense starts and ends with him, and there's a reason why. That is a big-time play by a middle linebacker. Farmer hitting the backfield. A flag comes in at the end from the back judge. Possible face mask here. Flag was thrown by the white hat. And indeed is a face mask, so that'll bring Peddie up just 5 yards. I guess they still have the 5 and 15-yard varieties of face masks here in high school football. As Farmer looking to bounce outside, using Dolbris as his lead blocker. And Keshawn Farmer's got another first down for Peddie. Another phenomenal run by Keshawn Farmer. Following his left tackle, Noah DeHaan. Now Winter in the gun. 1st and 10 from the 15. Flag comes in before the snap. It's against the Peddie Falcons and a false start. First and 15 from the 19. Winter looking to throw, completing, far side of the field. Alonzo Adai still on his feet, moving the pile towards that first down marker. Nice yak. Yards after the catch for Alonzo Adai. Caught it and a quick 5-yard route from Mason Winter and then ran another 7. To make it second and very manageable here within the 10 for Peddie. Winter fakes to Farmer, and that was tipped, nearly intercepted. Nice defensive play by Emil Banfield. So falls incomplete for Mason Winter, makes it 3rd and 3. 4:28 to go here in the third quarter. Peddie up by 14. Knocking on the door to make it a little bit more. Winter lost it, did pick it up and is hit all the way back at the 16-yard line. That'll make it 4th down, and it's going to be a difficult 4th down to pick up. They officially mark it at the, 14-yard line. They've got to get to the 5, so 9 yards to go. Still might be out of your field goal kicker's range, but Mason Winter will line up behind center in the gun on 4th down. Rolling right, completing. Keeling Hunter has got the first down, and he's got the touchdown. On 4th and 9, Peddie strikes again. Keeling Hunter with the forced fumble, the fumble recovery defensively, and then he finishes off his team's drive offensively for a touchdown. On for the extra point. It is up. It is good. 28-7. The Falcons quadrupling up the Lawrenceville Big Red with 3:39 to go here in the third quarter. A 14-yard pass and catch from Mason Winter to Keeling Hunter. And the Falcons in the end zone again to make it 28-7. Set up by the defense, and Keeling Hunter setting himself up for that touchdown as he forced the fumble at about the 40-yard line. That gave Peddie good field position and a short field to get into the end zone, and finished off by Hunter. Here's Isaiah Wingfield with a head of steam across the 25 and up to the 35-yard line. Lawrenceville, and I start to think about this clock. You know, it's still the third quarter, but you're down by 3 scores. The way Peddie is moving the ball offensively, you can't really afford any missed chances offensively when you have the ball. So the Big Red looking to get something going on offense. Remember, this is a Lawrenceville offense that scored 45 points against Mercersburg the last time out, and then 41 points against Penn Charter the time before that. They've got 7 at the latter stages of the third quarter because the Peddie defense continues to impress. Jawan Dolbris makes the tackle, and the senior holds Lawrenceville to just a 1-yard gain. Now, turnovers certainly haven't helped. 3 of them from my count by Lawrenceville. All fumbles. Koloski pitches. Wamakima takes it on the delay. And a gain of about 7 on second down for Samuel Wamakima. They mark him about 3 yards short of the first down marker, 3rd and 3. Tessima Haskins made the tackle for Peddie. A guy that had an interception in their last game. Wamakima taking the pitch on the other side, being pursued and tackled. The hit by Alonzo Adai. And what a hit it was. It makes it 4th down. It goes down as a loss in the books. And 4th and 5 for Lawrenceville. And it looks like the punt unit is coming out onto the field with under 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Another phenomenal stand by Peddie's defense. They force Lawrenceville to a 3-and-out. Alonzo Adai, who just made it 4th down, is listed out as a punt returner at the 26. And the punt is away. Out of bounds, right at the 41. So decent field position coming here for the Peddie Falcons, who are now up 28-7. Falcons will play Mercersburg in their next game. Then they'll play at the Hun School on Halloween. Finish off their season with Blair right here at Maurice P. Schumann Field. A game that will be broadcast right here on the Strive Network. Winter in the gun, 1st and 10. Throwing deep. And he overshoots his man. Looking for Alonzo Adai, who did have some separation on his defender. So 2nd and 10 with 1:23 to go here in the third. Farmer to Winter's right. In motion is Dolbris. Flag comes in. False start against Peddie. So bring him back 5 yards. Snap goes over Winter's head. It's picked up by Farmer. Keshawn Farmer makes a move upfield and turns something out of nothing. He picked that ball up about 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and he ends up getting about a 2-yard gain. It's still going to be 3rd and long. Third and 13. Under a minute to go here in the third quarter. Winter firing across the middle, and a flag comes in from the far side as the pass was intended for Alonzo Adai. They might have gotten Sam Smith on the penalty, and it is a pass interference penalty, which is a big penalty for the Peddie Falcons on 3rd and long. I don't believe it's an automatic first down, but it will be because the ball is going to be spotted at the 47. So 1st and 10. As the chains move, a huge penalty on 3rd and long. And Peddie will likely be able to take this possession to the 4th quarter. They give it to Farmer. Hit at the line of scrimmage. And shoved backwards. The ball came out at the end. But it'll be 2nd and 10 as the clock ticks, and we'll see if Coach Maleo wants to run another play before the 3rd quarter comes to a close. And what a quarter it was for Peddie. No points on the board for Lawrenceville, 7 points on the board for Peddie. They will line up to snap this one. They get another playoff, and Farmer able to stay on his feet. This ball's still live. Keshawn Farmer across the 30. Keshawn Farmer dragged down at the 16-yard line. A flag comes in at the end. And it's a horse collar penalty against Lawrenceville. So add insult to injury. They sneaked that play in at the last possible moment right before the 3rd quarter, and Keshawn Farmer rewards Chris Maleo with a huge run and then the penalty to boot. So we're through 3, 28-7 Peddie, and they'll have the ball at the 17-yard line to start the 4th when we come back to the Strive Network. So we switch sides of the field as the Peddie Falcons will have a first down in the red zone again. Their offense continues It's hot play. Keshawn Farmer specifically with a big run before the end of the third quarter. And then the horse collar penalty added a few more yards on top of that. So Peddie is going to start this fourth quarter inside the 10-yard line. They've got a 1st and goal. Farmer looking for his 3rd touchdown. Winter gives to Dolbris. And Jawan Dolbris is into the end zone again. 2nd running touchdown for Jawan Dolbris. This one from 9 yards out. And Peddie, 1 play in the 4th quarter and a touchdown. Makes it 34-7. Heck of a performance by the Peddie Falcons as Matthew Saker looks for his 5th extra point. It's up, and it hit the upright, but did fall through. So he's 5 for 5. And the Peddie Falcons, 5 touchdowns, gives them a 35-7 lead with 11:45 to go in the game. We take a quick step aside. We come back. Lawrenceville gets the ball back. Another touchdown for the Falcons as this one comes from Jawan Dolbris. Got in the end zone earlier in the game on a 49-yard run. This one a 9-yard run to make it 35-7. This kick will drop at the 25. And down at the 30-yard line. That was Muhammad Diakite with the return. So Lawrenceville unable to get on the board in the 3rd quarter. And will start their first drive of the 4th at the 30. Koloski fires, and Wingfield could not bring it in. You're going to see Koloski look for Isaiah Wingfield, his biggest playmaker at the wide receiver position, a lot here in the 4th quarter, we can presume. As it'll be 2nd and 10. Koloski under center. To throw again, stepping up and completing. Wingfield makes a nice catch, snags it out of the air, and then runs into Peddie territory to the 41. Nice play by Koloski as the pocket was collapsing on him, able to get it right into the right spot for Wingfield, who didn't have a ton of separation on his defender and still made a nice catch. And it moves the chains all the way up to the 41. So 1st and 10 as Lawrenceville hurries up their offense. They give a touch to Wamakima here. Wamakima running east to west and now turning upfield north. Wamakima lowering his shoulder with the help of an offensive lineman. He's able to get to the 25. Good-looking run. Christian Shade coming in there at the end to give Wamakima another 3 or 4 yards. And Lawrenceville's offense looking good here on their last few plays. a first down up to the 26. No, a timeout is called here, and that will stop the clock. Peddie will talk it over with 10:43 to go in the fourth quarter. It's Peddie 35, Lawrenceville 7, right here on the Strive Network. First and 10 for Harry Flaherty and the Lawrenceville Big Red. As you get a two-box look of the defense of Peddie and the offense of Lawrenceville. Our director today, Steve Eggert, and Lance Glenn doing the graphics for us. Simon Rose here with you on the Strive Network. Glad you could join us for an entertaining football game. Lawrenceville changing their formation as they pitch to Wamakima. Wamakima to throw deep for Wingfield, who makes the catch. Inside the 5-yard line, Wingfield makes a highlight reel catch. And the Lawrenceville Big Red finally have a chance to score a touchdown here in the second half. Let's take another look here. As we're unable to get that replay, but boy, good thing that our videos archive right to YouTube, because you'll be able to watch that catch again and watch that play again. It started off with Wamakima throwing the ball. Phenomenal throw, and really you just got to put it in the vicinity of Wingfield. As it's Koloski on the keeper, only had to get a few inches. No signal yet except from the Lawrenceville offensive line. Now the referees say touchdown. Koloski in on the keeper. And it's 35-13. Good-looking drive from Lawrenceville. As we take another look, this will give us a good angle to where Koloski was. Yeah, clearly across the line for the touchdown. The line up for the extra point. Kick is up, and it hits off the crossbar, went all the way high into the air, dropped right on the crossbar, and went through for Lawrenceville. So 35-14 is the score with 9:56 to go in the fourth quarter. Nice drive there by Lawrenceville, set up by Isaiah Wingfield. Isaiah Wingfield with a beautiful catch inside the 5, but earlier in the drive he made a nice play in his own territory, about 30 yards on the catch to get that Lawrenceville drive started. And Wamakima's pass on the flea flicker to Wingfield was able to get them right inside the 2, and Koloski punched it in for the score. So 35-14, and Lawrenceville will come out to kick it away. And you might be getting to the point, if you're Peddie, where you just feed your running backs and try to turn some of this clock off. And these two teams 1-0 in the Maple League. Joining Hun as the other 1-0 team. And it's an onside kick attempt, and it's a good one, but it's fielded cleanly by Peddie and Adam Conyer. So really good field position again for Peddie. An onside kick with just under 10 minutes to go in the game. Nothing doing as the Falcons are able to cover up. They'll have the ball at the 49 to start, as they try to continue this impressive offensive performance. Winter again in the gun. Pitch to Dolbris. And Dolbris hit right at the line. Unable to turn the corner. That was Emil Banfield who made the play. So 2nd and 10. And the offense has put up 35 points, and we haven't seen Mason Winter complete a pass down the field. That's kind of been this Peddie offense all season. Those quick screens and allow your guys like Farmer, Dolbris, and Adai to make plays for you. Here's Farmer, not a lot of room to run on the near side, and he is smothered right at the sideline by the same guy. Emil Banfield makes the play on the 2nd consecutive run. Banfield going out to the sideline, calling for a substitution. Coming in is Samuel Wamakima. Go down as a loss of about 3 on the play for Farmer. As Peddie has a 3rd and 11. Winter dumps it off to Farmer, patiently running behind his blockers. He's got the 1st down before the piles up on him at the 36. Keshawn Farmer continuing his impressive play. We saw him against Poly Prep make some incredible cuts, and we quickly said that he was a stud, and he is certainly proving that here in this game. 4 receivers. Winter completing, making a juke. And to the 25-yard line goes Alonzo Adai, and Peddie's offense moving again. Another 1st down. Peddie continues to hurry this offense up. Winter, another quick play to Adai. Adai brought down by the ankles by Mohamed Diakite. Chris Maleo said that he loves to score points. That's a direct quote. He's not lying. As it's 1st down, Winter pump fakes, now throws, nearly intercepted, tipped, and it's a touchdown, Adai. Diakite got a hand on it, but not enough, as Adai stayed with it and corrals for the touchdown. And Peddie has eclipsed 40 points for the 4th consecutive game. However, they're going to call this one back. They're going to say an eligible receiver down the field. That's going to wipe away that highlight reel play. And not only that, it'll make it 1st and 15 for Peddie. Under 7 minutes to go here in quarter number 4. Peddie up by 21 and looking for more. Winter in the gun, fakes to Farmer, rolling right, throwing across his body, completing. Gets it to the tight end, Keeling Hunter. Another flag comes out. I think it's going to be against Peddie. could see some of the frustrated players and even the coaches here on the Peddie sideline. They've been called for a lot of penalties in this game. So was Lawrenceville, but the referees really have been quick to throw the flags out onto the field, as we do have a down Lawrenceville Big Red player. And hobbling off is number 53, Phil Arnett. He's an important player for Lawrenceville. 13 tackles coming into the game. The linebacker will go to the sideline and get checked out. So it'll remain first down, but the line of scrimmage is the 25, and they've got to get to the 5. It's Keshawn Farmer to the 18. Wamakima makes the tackle for Lawrenceville. In the gun, Winter pitches to Dolbrist, nowhere to go, so he'll come back to the near side of the field, and now he's got room over there. Juwan Dolbrist taken down inside the 5 by Wamakima. Another great run by the Falcons. Nothing over there. Let's come back to the near side of the field. Follow your blockers. Noah DeHaan makes a nice block. And Peddie with a 1st and goal at the 4. Keshawn Farmer, easy move into the end zone. Touchdown, Peddie. And now they've eclipsed 40 points for the 4th consecutive game. 3rd touchdown of the game for Keshawn Farmer. 20 yards, 7 yards, and now 4 yards. And it's 41-14. Matthew Saker on for his 6th extra point of the game. His 6th attempt is true through the uprights. And it's 42-14 with 5:24 to go in the 4th quarter. You're watching Maple League football right here on the Strive Network. They wiped the touchdown away, a pass from Mason Winter to Alonzo Adai. But then the Peddie Falcons got in the end zone anyway. A 4-yard run by Keshawn Farmer, his 3rd of the game. Makes it a 28-point lead for the Falcons as they kick away. Picked up at the 30-yard line. Decent return here for the Big Red. That was Kwesi Adu Diawu. The 6'1", 180-pound wide receiver from Orange, New Jersey. So out comes the Lawrenceville Big Red offense once again. Able to score on their last possession. A good-looking drive that ended with a 1-yard run by the quarterback, Joseph Koloski. Koloski on play action. Steps up and fires. And this one is broken up among 4 defenders. There is a flag down. That was Muhammad Diakite. And this penalty may even be against Lawrenceville. It is an eligible man downfield. Diakite was claiming that he was penalized on the attempted catch. Not the case. 1st and 15 as Peddie accepts the penalty. Just over 5 minutes to go here from Hightstown. Koloski stepping up in the pocket, will tuck it and run, and he's taken down. A gain of 3 on the play as Jose Morales, class of 2018 from the Bronx, able to grab Koloski at the ankles. 2nd and 14. Koloski fires, completes, staying on his feet is Diakite. And he's got a 1st down. Good looking play there. They'll stop the clock for the moment as they move the chains. Jose Morales makes the tackle once again. And now we tick under 4 minutes to go here in the 4th. Deep back is Wamakima. They fake to him. Koloski looking for Wingfield down the near side of the field, and he got tied up with his defensive back and Alonzo Adai. No flag thrown. You can see the referees coming over, discussing with Adai and Farmer something. But good coverage on the play against Wingfield. 2nd and 10. Koloski will go down. Nowhere to go, and the play made by Joe Leone. A fan favorite here at Peddie. Leone brings back Lawrenceville to the 47. 3rd and long. Koloski able to escape some pressure, but he can't get past Chidi Broderick. Cheeky from Chidi, and he's able to make it 4th down upcoming for Lawrenceville and about 12 yards to go. Under 3 minutes to go here in quarter number 4. No choice but to go for it. A game all but over, but you're playing for pride at this point. See if you can get something going offensively. As you can see, Harry Flaherty on the far side, yelling to his huddle. Koloski in the gun. Wingfield on the near side. Looking for Isaiah Wingfield, and it's tipped by Leone. He thought he should have had the interception. Instead, it's an incomplete pass. Peddie will have the ball anyway as it's a turnover on downs. And that will all but do it as Peddie only has to run the ball a few times. Though, knowing Chris Maleo, he might try to hurry up and put some more points on the board. Overall, a very impressive performance by Peddie on all phases of the ball. Offense, defense, and special teams all made plays today. Looks like Joe Leone on the carry. Leone making a couple of plays defensively, being rewarded by getting the ball on offense. Leone remains in at running back, and it's Luke Moorhead, the junior, in at quarterback. Leone trying to get outside, staying on his feet. And he's taken down after a gain of about 1. And he went a number of yards to get that 1-yard gain. Moorhead actually did play this season. He started the game against Mater Dei, the game where Peddie went on to win 47-12, so he's got some experience. As he comes over to get the play call from the near side. Third and 9 as we tick under a minute to go. The run this time by Prince Terrell from College Park, Georgia. Class of 2018 gets a touch here. And on 4th down, very likely the last play of the game, the Peddie Falcons will improve to 4-1 on the season, 2-0 in the Maple League, which of course will be tied for first place. And it'll be tied with Hun, depending on what the Hun school does today. Hun playing the Hill School, very likely getting a win there. So Hun will be 2-0 very likely. Blair playing Mercersburg. So it'll be Peddie and Hun at 2-0 at the top of the standings. Lawrenceville dropping to 2-3 and 1-1 in the Maple League. They'll go on to play the Hun school next week. Peddie will play Mercersburg next week. But the Peddie Falcons with an impressive victory at home. They win 42-14 over the Lawrenceville Big Red. This has been a presentation of the Strive Network. My director, Steve Eggert. Our graphics, Lance Glynn. I'm Simon Rose. Glad you could join us here on the Strive Network. We'll see you next time. More Peddie athletics coming for you next weekend. Peddie soccer against Mercersburg in Mercersburg. And don't forget, this is the second to last time we'll see the Peddie football team. We'll see the Peddie football team the last game of the season against Blair Academy right here at Maurice P. Schumann Field. But from Maurice P. Schumann Field, we say so long. Peddie 42, Lawrenceville 14. We'll see you next time.